When I was a little kid, I used to love Halloween, but it was always Halloween itself that I was looking forward to because I couldn't wait to dress up. But as I got older, the best part of Halloween has always been the lead up, because for 2 months there's always been this sort of spooky magic in the air. No matter where you go, there's always Halloween decorations, whether it's jack-o'-lanterns that have been lit up people's stairs to their home. You can go into any store and it's filled with Halloween decorations, and there's all of these Halloween goings on. You have haunted hayrides, haunted corn mazes, haunted houses, haunted mansions, haunted frappuccinos, haunted public bathrooms. No, it's probably a serial killer. There's no shame in running out with your pants down. Just pull them up when you get out. It's not worth your life. So as you can imagine, with all this fun stuff around, it's easy to get sucked in, myself included. So when I go into these stores that sell all of these amazing Halloween goodies, which, might I add, are getting better and better as the years go on. Stores are stepping up their game, so things are much higher quality to the caliber of things that you can decorate your home with, and not something that's going to fall apart in 5 minutes. I need the voice of reason, and that would be my husband, because I walk into these stores with a shopping cart, and I'm just sort of going down the aisles with my arms outstretched, just scooping things in. I'm not even looking, not even discriminating, and that is incredibly unreasonable behavior, and I know that, and then I regret it later. So voice of reason comes along with me, who can sometimes be a little bit over the top because he has very high standards when it comes to freaking everything, but I need that. I need it because it keeps us falling into financial ruin, and it kind of teaches me a little bit of restraint. A little bit of restraint. Can't restrain this though. So I did my Halloween tour video where I went to Michael's, I went to AC Moore, and I went to Joann's, which are 3 very popular places to go to around here. That is until Spirit Halloween opens up. Once it does, that video will be coming very, very soon. I cannot wait to go there. I went to all of these stores, but I didn't buy anything. So if you've seen that vlog, everything that I picked up and everything that I looked at, I didn't purchase because I wanted to really mull it over. Think about the things that I gravitated toward, and think about the things that I'm like, oh, why didn't I get that? And then later on, go back and pick them up. Michael's was definitely the best store, and it's probably one I'd highly recommend as far as Halloween decor is concerned. But here's what I found. From the time that I had uploaded that vlog, from the time that I went back into the store, that was 1 week, more than half of that crap was gone. People go apeshit when it comes to Halloween decorations, and I couldn't believe how many things were gone. So with Stuart in tow, I went back to the store and we went and picked out the things that we both really liked. I was very sad to see that some of the things that I really wanted were gone. The palmistry hand in particular, where it outlined all the parts of the hand that, say, a palm reader would sort of use to navigate, and I really wanted that hand. And even though there were at least 30 of them, gone. We're moving in almost 3 weeks. We have a new apartment to decorate, and I did want to get some things to kind of go along with the new color scheme. And the color scheme is all grays. So we have gray carpeting, gray walls, so it's going to be better than this neutral monstrosity that I've had to deal with. Nothing wrong with neutrals, but when you're trying to decorate it in a sort of dark fashion, it's not a lot that matches with creams and beiges. But I think the gray is going to go a lot better. I don't know if you can see behind me, this is actually a vintage bed that was given to me by a friend. It is a really heavy solid oak bed that I'm going to be painting with chalk paint in a solid black color. So that's going to be really fun, but our apartment is so small we had nowhere to put it, so it's back here with my jacket over it. All that being said, off to the vlog. And this is why we wait. A few of the things that I was looking at from the last video that I really liked, this one. Right here, and I thought it matched the color scheme of the new apartment. And we can get rid of that rope, for example, and I can put one of those hooks in the back and hang it on the wall. But I thought it was nice. No.
I don't see why I want to hang this on the wall.
It says no.
Use it as a table mat.
As a table mat?
Put it in the middle of the table and put your candles on.
That could work.
And the way you'd hang it on the wall.
I like it, that's why. It's a nice...
You're going to put black and sort of off-white on a grey wall. Once again, it's going to look like an overcast day.
That's why you throw colors in.
Yeah, well, there isn't any on it.
So these flowers I'm really into, as we know. I can't believe how much stuff is gone. How do we feel about the bat trays? They are 30% off now.
I feel that I don't want to get more stuff put inside my house, which is already full of stuff, and then have to put up with it for another 3 weeks yet.
I thought these would be nice for guests. So we have, let's see, wicked, poison, deadly, and toxic. And throw macabre themed tea party.
Metal. I don't know how long they'll stay this color, because I'm pretty convinced they're plated.
We'd have to hand wash.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
There you go.
what are your thoughts on this? Now that you've licked it, we kind of need to get it. You realize that you put your DNA on this. Yet another great idea ruined by the color orange.
Maybe just, like, if this all the way down, these would be really nice. Just need scissors. Problem solved.
They'd be a really weird shaped napkin, though.
That's true. But they would be better. Find something that fulfills the need that I require. I need a cool fucking spidery bowl.
It's on the other side.
So you can do this, right?
And then put a spider in the middle.
And then have nachos in the middle and dips around the outside. Put them in the middle of the table. Like so. Because I like nachos.
I know, I like nachos too. Now that you've said that, we have to have it for dinner. Because now I have to have them. Sorry. Oh wait, that's not a spider. It's like a scarab.
It's also too big and it's not round. It doesn't fit. I don't like that it's hollow and shiny.
That's what she said.
Is this enough space for nachos? Put this in the middle of a table, you see, it could be nachos. I failed to see why this is worth $145.
Just look at it.
I am. Like, this looks like a child's toy. I should be able to buy it for like $40.
It's mesmerizing. Going along with the new gray theme of our apartment with the new sort of color scheme, I wanted to go for things that had bits of gray in them. We got this throw pillow. It's very cushy and very smushy and very comfy, but the material is definitely not one you want to rest your face on because it's a little scratchy, but it's smushy. Do not anger me, chain, or I will destroy you. To give you an idea, it looks sort of metallic, but it isn't. It really does look like an X-ray. Not sure which room this is going into, but it's definitely going to be a fun addition, and I think it's really nice. So, second, we have Mad Laboratories Pickled Bats. It's a glass jar. I'm a sucker for receptacles, and I love the lid. Can you tell I like bats? Enter if you dare. Which is ironic because we're putting it in the bathroom, so it could have so many different meanings. And of course my potty humor kicks in and you get the idea. So it is a little bit of a neutral color. As you can see, it's sort of a bone color. And what's good about that is our bathroom is the only thing that doesn't have gray tones. And I'm going to show you a picture of the bathroom right now. So the thing about that bathroom is that there's really not much that you can do with it to really spook it up. And it was nice that we found this that matches the color scheme of the bathroom. So if we can find things in bone and black, we might be able to make it work. But I'm gonna have to find a very big black bath mat to cover that floor, because that floor is so loud. I can imagine just sitting down to pee and then getting really dizzy if I stare at that floor, because it's kind of that pattern that starts to move on its own, makes your mind play tricks on you. Ugh. As featured in the video, had to get these, and I couldn't grab a new one because Stuart, to test it, licked one. So I wasn't gonna put the one he licked back, and even if we weren't gonna get them, I was getting them now because I'm sorry, that's really disgusting. I'm not going to put something back on the shelf with Stuart's spin on it. Wicked, poison, deadly, toxic. And I'm thinking scones. I make my own jam from home, and when I use raspberry and strawberry, it really does look like blood, so. Evil scones! Next we have these. I got a lot of these in varying sizes. So we have this size, one size down, and they only had one left of this. Looking at it on camera, this really looks like a bong. Unintentional. We can use them as drinking glasses if we have guests or something, and I thought it would be fun to just sort of serve somebody a beverage out of this with a straw and just say nothing. But then again, coming to our house, they'd kind of expect it. Moving for me is going to be a bit like pulling off a bandage for two reasons. One, I hate moving. I don't like change, and it kind of fills me with a lot of anxiety to be in new surroundings, and it takes me a little while to sort of grow that sense of familiarity. And I've been here in this apartment for 4 years, and that's the longest I've ever been anywhere because I've moved around so much. So for me, it's going to be very difficult. Reason two, I'll tell you the short version first, and then I'll get into how exactly that happened. I'm going to be moving back into the very apartment that I lived in with my ex. And the way that went down was my husband and I had been looking to move. And as you know, we've been looking to move for a good few years now, and it's been really difficult finding a place. Now, initially, we were going to move further out west, closer to my job in Nassau County. And it has been hell and all trouble finding a place, mainly because brokers rule the market. They monopolize it in a major way, which makes things difficult for us because you're not only paying first month's rent, you're paying that not once, not twice, but 3, sometimes 4 times. Can you imagine that? Let's say you find a place for $1,900 and you have to pay that 4 times. You're paying first month's rent, you're paying security deposit, you're paying the broker's fee, which is the equivalent to 1 month's rent, and sometimes they also want last month's rent. So it makes things really impossible. So when we weren't really coming up with anything that was by owner, we started to look into transferring into a different apartment complex, because the apartment complex we live in has many complexes throughout the island. And we thought, okay, well, we'll just transfer because it's much easier. Transfer fees pretty small, and we know that they accept dogs, particularly the pit bull that we have. I mean, a dog in general, it's impossible to find a place, let alone a 90-pound pit bull who is scared of his own farts, but they don't know that. We're looking into different apartment complexes, and it's really coming down to the wire. And on their website, we noticed this new complex that opened up in our area, and it's really nice. And I'm looking through the pictures, and I'm like, this complex is beautiful. Not only are the apartments great, but they have a washer and dryer in the unit, and that is huge. Because when you have to go out to the laundromat to do your freaking laundry, it's a nightmare to have to lug this stuff around, particularly when it's snowing out. I can't tell you how many times I've just fallen straight on my ass holding a laundry bag in the snow. So the more that I'm looking through these pictures on the website, I'm looking, now it's all updated, it's all brand new, but I'm like, something about this layout looks very familiar to me, and I cannot put my finger on it. So then I look at the address. The address to this apartment complex was an old apartment complex that I lived in the mid-2000s. But the apartment complex that I'm currently living in, they bought this one out because it was once independently owned, but they bought it. So now they own it, and that's why they did all the renovations and everything, and that's why I didn't recognize it right away. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, big deal, it's the same complex. what are the chances that we're going to end up in the same apartment? Never tempt the universe. I have learned this many a time, and I should have learned it here, because I kept saying it. Every time I was justifying this move, I kept saying, yeah, but you know what are the chances that we're going to end up in the same apartment? We went to the leasing agent in our apartment complex saying that we wanted to do the transfer to this new community. She said it could be 3 months, could be 3 weeks. We don't know when a vacancy will become available, but we'll put your name in. We'll make sure that you are first on the list. And then once something does become available, we'll sign the paperwork, you pay the fees, done and done, we'll get you over there. Friday the 13th, I get a call from the leasing agent. This is 1 week after we put in for it. And she said, you will never guess what, an apartment has just become available. Come down, sign the paperwork, bring a check for, I believe it was $18.01. I ran down there in my pajamas with my checkbook and flip-flops on. So I sat down and she said, are you excited? I'm like, just as long as it's not apartment number, And she immediately just stopped and looked at me and said, why? And my ass is hovering between standing up position in the chair. My ass had not even hit the chair yet, and I'm sort of hovering now, holding on to the sides of the chair. And I'm like, it's apartment number blank, isn't it? And she said, yeah, why? So I fell into the chair, and I just sort of stared off at the wall for a minute, because I needed a minute. It was at that point that I knew I fucking jinxed the hell out of myself. And I knew that I really had no choice. We can't stay in this apartment another year. There was no way. It's small. It cannot accommodate both me, my husband, our dog, and all of the stuff that we keep accumulating. And we've outgrown it at this point. It served its purpose, and we're making more money now. We can afford a bigger place. I know that this is the only other option. So I'm kind of coming to terms with that as I'm sat here. So I'm like, let's do this. And I explained to her, as I'm signing the paperwork, my exact reasoning. And she said, what are the chances? And I was like, Friday the fucking 13th, I don't know. And I started getting more, you know, this is a chance for you to rewrite your past, rewrite your history. Because a lot of bad happened there. A lot of what has given you the anxiety and the stress that you deal with to this day. I'm embarrassed to admit that I do still have, from shit that went down there, I do have recurring nightmares. However, my subconscious assigns my husband's face to the face of the person that had done these things to me in the past. So there's definitely some trauma there. But I did always love this apartment. And my rat, my pet rat that I had, poor guy, he had a stroke in that apartment. He's buried just behind our balcony. We're returning to Ratty Boom Batty, and the apartment's going to be way different. It's going to be renovated to the point where it's unrecognizable, but within those 4 walls, that doesn't change what happened within them. So you best believe I'm going to be saging the absolute crap out of it and filling it with positive energy. Either way, though, a lot of sage is going to be burned there. A lot.